order. Blake is also on the finance, and he's running just a little bit late. He called me, so he'll be right on in. So at this time, thank you all for coming. So Mr. Davis, we're gonna let you go ahead and just
tell you what I'm asking for.
share. Yeah, then when you get through, because we got something else, we'll let you, and we're gonna keep Billy here, but he won't speak to you. We'll let you guys leave.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I had this done so everybody could see it.
Oh, you got a better copy?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Give you an idea of what we're talking about here. Everybody. We share. Let's see, there's two different kinds here.
You got another one for Blake.
Here, give this one.
There we go. We'll split this one. You with that?
What?
There we go. That's all that one I got.
I said that y'all didn't have to have it.
No, we don't. If you need an extra copy, you got it.
Just gotta make sure Blake's happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go get it. Okay, so that shows it. All this, the first one I gave you literally is just what I'm bleeding, guys.
Come get your Band-Aid.
That's
I think up over the refrigerator there, I think there's some Band-Aid.
There you go.
Get a Band-Aid.
Now this is a close-up so you can see the numbers better. This is step back away so you get a little bit bigger better picture. Thank you, man.
When you get older, you'll start bleeding more.
I'm fine, thank you.
Possible.
Just keep me from getting it on the oil anyway. Okay, what this request does is ask the city to declare this surplus for a couple of reasons, I think, which are both will behoove the city to do. First of all, I thank you for your time. I know you're busy, and this is not a major matter, and you all have major matters out there that you're looking at, so I appreciate your time. This particular project that you'll see, let me show this one. This project you see right here, this outline, has been before zoning and has been approved. So Councilman Edwards is aware of this set of circumstances. And one thing I want you to know is that I do go to all the neighbors, literally everybody in the neighborhood that joins or is adjoining, and I let them know what the project is, and I have support. Literally, they all volunteered to come or to the council meeting or whatever is necessary. I've gone through that process. I don't get into the details of this project, but the reason they're all for it is because it solves two or three problems for the neighborhood. One is drainage. So when I do my project, I put in 2 large retention ponds. It takes this piece of property the way it lays, the water's all going to the low place. It's also coming from up other people's properties, and it all comes down on these neighbors. It's down Old Chisholm Highway. So when I put my retention ponds in, I've also got a neighbor there that's agreed to let me come across their property because it's going to improve their situation. And I'm going, for no cost to them, I'm going to improve the drainage on through down to Chisholm Road across their property. So that's going to be a good project that will be paid for privately. They will solve problems in the Councilman Edwards district that's been there for a long time. As this thing went through planning, I'm sure you're all familiar with an overlay. An overlay basically is when you and the city agree that you're going to do a specific project, that you don't get zoning approved and go out and do a different project, you know. And so I agreed to an overlay which means what I specifically hand them is what will specifically be done. And that's one of the things that the neighbors were very happy about, is that that I showed them what I'm gonna do, and nothing will change down the road. That's been a habit in the past, that people would come in and zone something, and later they'd sell it and somebody else would do something different. So I'm doing a specific project, and that's called an overlay the city has agreed to and zoning has agreed to. They've not been before the council yet, because they had to get this done first, and then I'll bring it to the full council. In the overlay, when you go to all the department heads, they'll notate issues or requirements, things of that nature. We've met all those department heads' requests. As far as the water's concerned, and here is the specific report from planning, it says that the 3-inch PVC water main on Old Chisholm Road is inadequate for fire protection. In other words, anybody that develops this piece of property is going to have to have a 6-inch line to get water pressure great enough to supply 8 or 12 fire hydrants.
suppression, yeah.
Right. It could be for other reasons. It could be for fire prevention or fire suppression systems that you require. So I have to get the 6-inch line. Old Chisholm does not have but a 3-inch line. So one of the 2 reasons I'm asking for this piece of property to be prepared surface is to access New Chisholm Highway to get to an 8-inch water line, which I'll bring a 6-inch off of. Okay, so this gives me access to 7.
So this blue part is what you're asking for.
Right. It gives me my access. So that's holding this development up, because it will hold any development up. Because anything goes in is going to have fire out there, no matter what it is. So to get the the water pressure, I've got to get access to the new highway out here. Because see the old highways up here, it does not have but a 3-inch. Out here you got an 8-inch, and I got to have 6, so I got to go to the 8-inch. I can't get it off the 3-inch. Okay, so it gives me access to water. Also, this piece of property gives access to the rest of this property, which will be developed retail, which will create retail income tax for the city too. This property doesn't have any access. The reason is TV has a large line down 17, and you can't go under it. It's too low. You say, why can't you raise the line? Because you can't afford to raise the line. It costs you $500,000 to raise that or more, which makes the property worthless. But with this access, that's why I'm asking for 75 feet to get the width necessary to build a full city street. Will give access to this piece of property where it can be developed as retail.
So they would come off Old Chisholm to get to it.
Right. That's the 2 primary reasons. Now, that having been said, I went back and did some title work to make sure that this property is what it is, and the city has owned it since 1967 and not had any use for it thus far. Ms. McDuffer reviewed it and said, we've got, this is why I gave you the larger, this, you don't find the or the smaller. Anyway, y'all have a substation in this corner, and there's more than enough necessary for any size expansion necessary. Okay, so we're just trimming the bottom off of it just to get a small piece of it. There's more than enough room up there. Ms. McDuffer's reviewed it and has agreed that
So you're not getting all of it, you're just
it's
getting
getting
a
a
portion.
small slice off the south side.
And this says parcel B to be deeded to neighbor.
It's to access neighbors, what it should have said.
Okay.
Those civil people don't know who's doing what. We just ask them to survey it out so we can access this piece of property. Also to access the highway, the water on the highway, excuse me. Now, let me get my notes here. See, Ms. McDuffer's reviewed and okayed, visited and joined all neighbors. Mr. Edwards is aware. Solves our drainage problems. This width allows us to build a full 60-foot road to city specs. That's why I'm asking for that width. We will pay it's 60 to 65 feet right in there, but 75 gives me room to have a little more than I need maybe. And then, we don't know if it wiggles or,
Yeah.
we gotta have a little wiggle room. We will pay full market price for it. Okay. We know what that is because I bought this piece of property that was deeded to the city in '67 came off that property that I own just south of it. So it was really part of this one piece. But we have a method to show that we're giving full market price because we just bought what joins it. So we'll give exactly per square foot what we paid for the other. Come on in, Mr. Evans. And we will agree to incur all expenses, so there will be zero cost to the city. Pay full market price, zero cost, no one will pay for any surveying, any work necessary for the transaction. And with this approval, that allows us to move forward with our project. It's all engineered and ready to go with the exception of this. That's access to water pressure. Everything else is done. If I could
So the
ask,
zoning's already been, it's already been to the city council, the zoning.
not the city council, zoning. Go to zoning first, make sure the project lays in there, we've got access to all the utilities. And the only
It's gone
thing.
before planning too, right?
Huh?
It has gone before planning.
Yes.
Yeah,
This is the planning report right
yeah.
here.
So planning's finished with it,
Yes.
but it's gotta come to the council for zoning?
It's got to come to the council for approval.
To sell.
Oh, I understand that, but
No, zoning, yes,
yeah,
yes,
zoning's
zoning,
done.
yes,
But
yes.
the, yeah.
Yeah, for approval of what the planning commission has approved.
Approved.
And this is,
And everybody knows,
I don't know if anybody doesn't know about it that hadn't agreed with it.
no, what I'm saying, if they approve it, unanimously, right?
Yes, yeah.
The planning.
This is what they required me to do to get my approval.
Mhm.
And this is the only thing I don't, I've got to get this 6-inch water line access, because it's in the 3-inch on Chisholm that I have is inadequate.
Mhm.
So this gives me
And
adequate
getting
water.
this
Yes,
will do, help you
I'll
with
take
this.
care of all that.
Yeah.
So, Billy, you're good with everything there?
I am. I've looked at this a while back. I just needed the council to look at it and let Kendall explain it to y'all what he's doing. But yes, this will, and Mary actually called me this morning, right before the meeting, and because she's at some TVPPA conference, and she said that she's, good with it. So
The substation is going.
it's up in the corner.
It's on down.
And Mary said that if they ever expand it in the future, that she can't imagine any scenario where they would need more property than what they're still gonna have if the right of way built, so.
And I've driven out there and looked at it twice.
Yeah, well, I know when you were going through the planning stage, there were a bunch of folks that were a little upset on the beginning of it. I think you went and explained it, and then they were at were there 2 planning meetings on that, or just one? I can't.
Two.
Yeah,
We went back
the
and did
second one,
the
they were all for it, and they were,
Well, what
the ones that were really opposed to it changed and
just
before.
very briefly, what we bought, what was existing was R1, where we could pack 60, 75 houses in there, and it packed up against them very closely, within 10 feet of the yard and things of that nature. So we went and decelerated and moved it down to 32. So we're less than 50% of the density allowed. And so I went back to the neighborhood and I said, do y'all want 74 houses, or do y'all want 32? And they all said, if you'll do the 32, we'll back on you. Because the next guy could have just come in with he didn't have to go before zoning or anything, and he could have put 60, 80 houses in there. So we agreed to cut the density way back. We also agreed a 30-foot undisturbed easement, setback, all the way around the entire
Buffer
property.
zone.
Buffer zone, which is, we've done a tree survey, and we will not disturb that during construction. So the original large trees, all the underbrush, and as one lady said, all my deer, that's DEER, live in there, and I don't want y'all to disturb her. So when I gave her that 34 foot behind her house, she was tickled to death with that.
For the deer and the antelope and play.
Mm-hmm.
It's full of deer out there.
So I visited literally with everyone, physically sat in their home and showed them what we're doing, and I've had 8 or 10 call me and volunteer to come in and speak on behalf of this, because they know the alternative is not good. So they came and
So
says,
the neighbors are good, electricity, Marion are good,
They are
planning's
huge.
good, zoning's good. Question, how long would it, how much disturbance would it cause on Chisholm, on the roads at all?
none.
None?
On the main highway,
Yeah,
none.
okay.
See, the water's down that, Fortunately, it's on our side,
Mm-hmm,
so we don't have to cross it. We don't have to cut the road. Chisholm doesn't have to be cut.
okay.
That'll save you a ton of money.
Huh?
You had to cut it, that'd cost you
Oh,
a ton of
Lord,
money.
it wouldn't be feasible to do.
What do you think?
As it wouldn't be feasible for us to go either way up Chisholm and go access it, because it's 300 or 400 yards, which, you know, so much a foot would kill the project. It's just not.
What's the estimated time of the project once it gets started?
It'll take us 18 months to
Okay.
finish construction.
Okay.
So if they agree, when would it come to the council on the 6th?
On the
Is this the
6th.
last one? This is the last one.
It could, yeah, I mean, it's not gonna take any time. I just, in order to draft a deed, if I'm gonna draft a deed, all I need is the property description.
Yeah.
So, and Tyndall's doing the survey, or his guys are doing the survey.
Yeah, we'll survey and send him a legal description, and he can draft the deed.
And no
Present.
cost, you said no cost to the city, right?
No,
Yeah.
whatever Billy tells me, we'll take care of.
Yeah, there won't be any cost unless you wanna have it done unless you wanna have a closing with a title company or an outside lawyer. I mean, if you're satisfied with just a deed, then it won't be
That's
any.
all, we're gonna make a street out of it, so it's not really gonna be involving somebody's home or that kind of stuff.
We'll maintain that street afterwards. Is it gonna
It'll be done to city specs.
And then
City.
we'll adopt it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll have to be presented to the city prior to construction for approval.
Your districts, I'm gonna follow your lead.
I mean, I'm well aware of this, and I've talked, when the neighbors talked to me early on, because it's kind of funny, they were upset with it, and then you explained what the project was, and then they took, even the ones that were really opposed to it, turned right around and basically said what you said. I have no problem with it, and, I'll support it. So,
Well,
they like the idea of it's 30-something versus
about half.
60 or 70. So it's going, well, see, I support the project. If you need a motion, if you're ready for a motion, I'll make it.
I'll second it.
The motion by Blake, second by Jackie, all in favor?
I'm sorry I was a little late.
Oh, that's okay, I told him.
I'm tired of that too.
So when y'all get that, they'll get it on the agenda.
Yeah, please, sir.
Okay. Any other
That's all we
questions
have
for-
there, so
any other
if
questions?
you wanna go,
I guess we need to, Tyndall, what is the fair market value?
Yeah, we need that amount.
It's gonna be somewhere around 7,500 for this small truck.
Okay.
That's based on, you take an acre that we purchased for 25,000 an acre. This is some portion of that acre, and we did the math on it, so somewhere in that range. And of
Okay.
course, we'll cover all the expenses involved too.
Sure.
You'll get a copy of that?
So I'll get all that and send it to you, but,
Okay.
yeah, I just was gonna give y'all an estimate of what
Yeah.
what the city would, what the project
That's up
would
to
be.
y'all. I mean, I'm just giving you an idea of what it's worth. This-
Yeah, well, I mean, that's up to the council, I'm fine, I mean,
That's how it drives the number is.
I mean, I don't know how else we
Proration of
can
the percentage
come up
of the
with a
acre.
price other than
Proration
that.
of the percentage of the acre.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
divide it by square feet,
Yeah.
multiply it back times
Yeah, I think
it's in that range.
that's very fair, I
Yeah.
think.
There's some odd number came out like 1,642 or something. I can't remember what it
Is that 75,000?
was. Hmm?
Is 75,000?
That wouldn't work.
All right, so
So we're good, yes,
Okay,
Kendall will
guys.
just get into, he'll just send me the property description and I'll do a deed and send it out for everybody to look at.
I'll have one of the civil groups, engineers send it to you.
Attend to one of the things we talk about a lot is infield, and I appreciate you stepping up and doing some infield for us on this.
Oh, yeah.
This is
We're,
good.
there's
This
some
will be good for the
infills
city.
downtown, historical district, cube houses, 1,700, 2,000 houses. We've also taken almost 45 houses in the last 10 years that are within 3-4 blocks of Court Street on both sides and completely rehabbed them. And we've got owners in them instead of renters
That's great.
from the residents. So we've done a lot of good. Of course, that was all near my home, so that's a little bit of incentive.
Yeah.
So it's a pleasure.
Thank you, Ted.
See you, Kendall.
See you guys.
you wanna stay or you wanna leave?
I probably need to leave.
It's up to you.
Well, I don't know what y'all are talking
Oh,
about.
maybe
Here,
this is
just,
something.
I guess, about when did we have this meeting?
Sometime late February, early March.
Yeah, we met, with Dr. Webb and his wife Liv. Dr. Webb is, one of the principals at Tennessee River Dermatology. And he has developed a product called Check My Spot. And I'm gonna let Andy and Melinda talk about it, but they've been looking at the facts and figures from our insurance, and basically, as I understand it, he's offering us a pilot, a 6-month pilot, and this app allows an employee to take a picture of a spot. Say there's a skin spot that they may be concerned about. Well, if you've ever been to a dermatologist, it takes you a while to get an appointment. But with this app, what he's trying to do is, you take that picture and send that through the app, and they will check it, and if they see something that needs immediate attention, they'll get you an appointment at a dermatologist of your choosing within 5 days, a week. All right, the pilot is $3,000 for 6 months. And I guess my question has been, will our employees use it? And I guess in a way, we won't know that until we try it. And, after talking to Melinda and Andy, I wanted some assistance thinking about it. Now, the issue is, we could put this on our next general fund budget. Well, I talked to Mark, and we can obviously, anybody can use it, but they're talking about park and rec, electricity department, and gas, water, and sewer, folks who would be out and about. So I actually had a conversation in the last day or last week with the two job stewards at the electricity department, and I said, I have a dilemma here. Do you think this is something employees would use? He said they do lots of employees that from time to time go have whatever cut off. And from my estimate, $3,000 that could assist people who don't let it go too far would in the long run save the city a lot of money. We now have 100% coverage, is that correct? Cancer. But it also could certainly help an employee or their family members that are covered by insurance. So y'all comment beyond that.
Yeah, so when they came and talked to us about it, it was a really good presentation. Their big thing is it cuts down on the time frame in which to be seen. And that's when it comes to this, I forgot his exact figure, but it was for every 30 days you wait, your chances decrease by 10%. So we got a 90% mortality rate, it goes down to 80 or 70 or 60 the longer you wait. So it's a big deal when it comes to that, and especially the employees that are prone to be working outside. the pilot program is something that's interesting to me because we don't know what the figures will be after the pilot is done. However, for this first 6 months, it would be a total amount of $3,000. I think each employee would have two, you could check 2 spots a month essentially and go from there. So you would take those pictures, then you would have the appointment set up. You would still have your normal copay or deductible, whatever you have when you go to see the doctor. But it's prevention. It's a preventative tool that we can possibly put in our benefits program.
Well, obviously with summer coming on, that's probably a bigger time frame. So that's why I'm bringing it to you now rather than putting it on and us, I mean.
Is it employees only or is it extended to their families as well?
I believe it'd be extended to their families.
Anybody covered.
It's under their policy.
Correct. I believe that was the way it was.
And have we had a lot of skin cancer that we've,
We did a
History.
we pulled some numbers roughly with our Blue Cross Blue Shield. They didn't notice any like catastrophic medical claims of advanced melanoma, but we definitely have our employees frequently having their spots removed.
yeah,
For skin
Precancerous.
lesions, and cancerous, just not where it's metastasized or anything like
Yeah.
that for a catastrophic medical claim, but we do have them, yes.
so we're talking parks and rec and utilities, so how would we split this up with budgets?
Well, when I talked to Mark, he said he'd work with Shayna and
They work it
Shouldn't
out,
be a problem.
yeah, because it's too, their budgets. they're-
Yeah,
Well-
let me clarify something real quick. We'll have to check to see. It might just be for employees. It might not be for family as well. That's something
Yeah,
we'll
I
have to
think
check to see, to make sure of, but it seems like that was said, but I could be misleading there. It would definitely be for employees, possibly family. We'll find out.
Because they're two different fiscal years, they don't run on the same,
well, they're about to bring their
yeah.
budget forward, but he didn't seem to think that was a problem. And I think he was looking more at number of employees rather than splitting it a third, maybe. He'd do about how many were in each
Yeah.
department. So
I just, if it could be in the utility budget, would be better because it comes sooner. And I would like to get it in a budget year and have it budgeted and, personally. And we're, very close to that already. Where if we put it in the general fund, we're waiting until October. And then,
Yeah.
like you said, we've gone through the summer at that point, so.
Well, the other part too, I think, this would be a good chance to see if it actually benefits. I mean, if we do it and nobody uses it, then we know not to renew the pilot or to put it in place.
So it's 6 months.
6 months.
Yes, and to add to that, Andy, they talked a lot about what it looks like once the pilot's over. And they'll do it based on their customer acquisition data. So the amount that it would cost us if we continue the program is undetermined based on what the pilot renders. So
It could go down.
it could potentially, yeah. They just base it off of the percentage of our employees that use it. So,
what's y'all's thought?
My thought, I want to read over this since I've just
I
got it.
think, sounds like a good project. We're talking about $3,000 for 6 months, and it's the summer. So, let's see if it's being used. I mean, if it can prevent, you think if a person has melanoma, I mean, if it gets away from it, that can do you in.
yeah.
So,
Where you have some really, really, really bad scarring, they're trying to remove the stuff. I've seen people that had in the past. I would be in favor of doing the pilot for $3,000.
how many employees does it cover approximately?
Well, we would cover any.
That was my question. We are making sure, because I don't want someone who works in an office to say, well, I don't,
It covers,
they're covered too, right?
it covers every
Okay.
employee.
Everybody at Parks and Rec, everybody in.
All administrative personnel.
Was it all
clerical,
full-time and part-time or just full-time?
Everybody.
Everybody.
So it'd be all employees.
Except fire police.
No, everybody.
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 Okay, I just want to make sure of that. that we're, yeah.
I mean, everybody.
All in.
So I didn't hear fire and police mentioned.
No, it's
Parks
all-
and Rec.
So we divide that into, that's a
Yeah.
pretty
I'm
big
saying
head
those are
count
the
that
ones
we're
that are-
per person.
You would think. because
Doing
Oh,
that's-
okay, okay.
When we divide $3,000 into that head count, it's a pretty insignificant
Yeah, and let
number
me,
per
to,
person.
to your point, if you were to, you could download the app today, and you could go on there just as a singular user. If you go through the process and you go to checkout, it's gonna cost $70 for you to have this evaluated on your own. So we're basically just offering that benefit in a large amount, you know, on the front end for our employees to be able to use it at no cost to them.
Yeah.
And if you catch it early, it's save some money on the long term also.
Mhm.
You know, I don't think I realized until recently when Melinda was talking to us, and I don't know how maybe the 70s, that we have 100% cancer coverage. Is that correct? You cannot get that anymore. I mean, it's a benefit that very few, it's offered to very few. And I think it's, you know, we have to have a certain, what is it, the amount, 5%, we can't bury that.
Yeah, as part of the contract.
But our new employees coming in are grandfathered as well on that. That's awesome.
I mean, I think that's an incredible benefit, especially, and how you help younger employees understand that could be, I mean, in the future. So, I mean, I guess what we're talking about is if y'all are willing, I'll get Mark and we will in some way get him to incorporate it in, you know, the budget that coming from before us shortly, and just incorporate that, so when you approve that budget, you'll be approving this. Can we, or that need to be separate, Billy?
It depends on whether we're gonna need to
Have a contract?
enter into a contract with them. If we are with the contract, it'll have to be approved separately, but the amount can be put in the budget.
So we all check out what we need for a contract?
I think there is a contract for the pilot, and then if we were to continue with them, we'd have to do it again for whatever the new determined amount is.
Because it's just for 6 months.
This is just, yeah, it's just to get
Correct.
a starter, a
That's
startup. Mhm.
Correct. So are y'all okay with that? I mean, we're not asking you to prove anything today, because, you know, ultimately we're gonna have to prove that.
So let me ask this question, get back to Jackie's question about the budget. The first budget comes out, what, July 1? When did you tell me I can get it?
It's always July 1st.
That's what I thought. And then the other, I don't know. So are we gonna wait till July 1 to start it, or are we gonna go ahead and start it now and incorporate it in the, and how's that, how we doing that?
Well, we're gonna have a utilities budget meeting. We're gonna,
What would be nice, I don't know if they'll do this, is if they know we have approved to put it in the budget, but they won't start the program 30 days early and give us, I don't know if legally we can do that, and then, because we wouldn't be approving the contract, to be working without a contract, but if, you know, if we wanted to get it, if you're concerned about starting it earlier,
Well, I
if they would
just-
do
I
a
think-
delayed billing into the next year's budget, since we're 6 weeks from it.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, yes, we're closed, but yet, if you wait too late in the year, but,
Lose some of the benefit.
yeah.
well, let's get the contract and see where we go.
What do you think, okay?
I think all of this needs to go to the full council and let them see this as well. So if they have any questions before you get any kind of
We can do
contracts.
that too.
I mean, I think that's just the right thing to do. Let all of them, the other three weigh in on it.
How about
See
like
what
in a
they-
work session and have them present it?
Well, they need to, instead
Just-
before we
just
decide
send
to
it.
go into a contract, they need to see what's going on too. So if they have any questions, they can reach out
Mhm.
as well.
We'll send that out.
But I want to do that before we lock into anything. That's just, that's me.
Well, we'll do that. I mean, we can do that.
But I think it's the responsible thing to do,
To do this or to,
to try this pilot program for
okay.
our employees.
Oh, yes,
All right, I'll get that out to everybody. It
Is
shouldn't,
that it?
but, once that's said, if there's a contract, it'll have to come to y'all too.
Yeah.
And then it would be incorporated in some way with the budget.
Do we want them to speak at the work session or just put out information,
Oh,
an email or something? They will do that.
Well, not tomorrow. Not tomorrow's work session.
I'll put it out and just tell, and we'll see where it goes.
Put
from
it out,
there.
yeah, if we can have it come to the, yeah,
Okay.
not tomorrow though. That's it?
See? That's good.
Painless.
Motion to adjourn?
Yeah,
I move, so move,
so second.
motion.
Motion to eat lunch.